if you think right now Trump is winning the trade war. Do you agree with those who think he is?
I mean, absolutely. I think that, obviously what happened at the EU, and again, I'm a huge fan of Bill Maher. And I think he's really one of the oracles for my party. And he acknowledges, like, hey, he thought that the tariffs were going to tank the economy, and he acknowledged that it did.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah, be careful who you listen to. Everybody in Washington now seems to be an economist, and some of them just don't know what they're talking about. Taking their advice is like taking the advice of a nun about sex, and a lot.
So for me, it's like. Again, it seems like the EU thing has been going well, and I guess we'll see how it happens with China.
The world is a complicated place, and it's not just about oppressor and oppressed. They have a thought in their head that white people did some very bad things, and white people did some very bad things. And they're all but so did everybody else in the world. Right. But they don't know that. They just see the world through this one prism. And until they do, I don't think you're going to get them off this issue. And I don't think the Democratic Party is going to be able to go forward until they make a decision. Whose side are you on here? Are you on the side of Western civilization and Western values, or are you on the side of the terrorists? Are you with those kids? Because, Mandami, he's the perfect candidate for them.
Whose side are you on? And you can treat it as a rhetorical question if you'd like. Odds are, if you're here now and you chose to make the conscious decision to click on and watch my video, that pretty much goes without saying, I would think. But just in case YouTube decides to push this video outside my audience or maybe even make it go viral, the legitimate question would be, are you on the side of all things logical, conservative, and just downright American? American as apple pie.
As American as the blues.
As American as apple pie. The question is why? Or are you on the side of all the losers? Get this. And hear me out, folks. Kamala Harris went on the canceled Late Show with canceled host Stephen Colbert to announce she's not running for governor nor president because the system is broken.
Yesterday, you made an announcement that you're not running for the governor of California.
Correct. Yeah.
You said you're going to sit this one out. Why are you sitting this one out? Are you saving yourself for a different office that might be?
No.
Obviously, people project onto their hopes and dreams.
And honestly, that it's more perhaps basic than that. I am a devout public servant. I have spent my entire career in service of the people. But to be very candid with you, I had to defend my decision to become a prosecutor with my family. Why is it then when we think we want to improve a system or change it, that we're always on the outside on bended knee or trying to break down the door? Shouldn't we also be inside the system? And that has been my career. Recently, I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken.
Yeah. And let's face it. Harsh reality, hot take, and newsflash, Kamala, the system isn't broken. It's functioning properly. because it stopped you from running the country. And for that, we're thankful.
Look, but just to go back to what you just said, is that I have to say, as someone who is very qualified for the presidency, a senator, attorney general of California, a vice president of the United States, and then a very hopeful and dynamic presidential candidate for the 107 days that you had to run, to hear you say that it's broken, to hear you say that our systems aren't strong enough, is harrowing.
Well, but it's also evident, isn't it?
No,
And it is
harrowing. I mean,
and it is.
I mean, there's almost no
but it
curse
doesn't
word
mean we
bad
give
enough.
up. But it doesn't mean we give up. That's not my point.
Okay, because that's what I'm hearing. Like you don't want to be part of the fight anymore.
No, oh, absolutely not.
Trump was robbed of his election win in 2020. And you know what? He didn't give up. He didn't give up just like that. Give up that easy on us and America. But leave it to old VP Kakala. And after one devastating $2 billion loss, she tosses up her hands, throws in the towel and says, nah, you know what? I'm good. But I wrote a book though. Don't make me laugh. I would be willing to bet it's just another homologation of plagiarism at its finest. That should really say a lot about a person who, after one failed attempt, just gives up on an entire country. But who am I kidding? This isn't her first failed attempt. And perhaps in retrospect, hindsight, she's taking the hint that nobody wants her, not even Dougie. She has terrible instinct, and it's just one worse decision after another bad decision after another. I mean, who chooses to make an announcement on a failed late night show about one's own failures and giving up and quitting? If only she could kick the habit of the booze, and she may actually be back on the road to redemption, but I ain't holding my breath. She's probably just too old now for anyone to want her to drop to her knees anymore and suck off her way to the top of the ladder. I mean, the Dems have made it clear. They'd rather have them some AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and in some sick, twisted reality, Sarah McBride. And now might be no better time than ever to remind all Democrat women to make sure you get those prostates checked, okay?
The weirdest thing to me is that we're in this complete shifting of the polls where the Republicans now are in favor of free speech. The Republicans want to end the wars. They want to stop contributing to foreign countries. They want comedy to be comedy again. They don't want restrictions on people's behavior and thinking.
Yeah.
And the Democrats have developed this sort of like cult-like idea of what everyone should accept and what's normal and what's not normal and what needs to be elevated in our population and what needs to be ignored. And it's just like, God damn, you're ruining it for everybody that thinks in a left way. Like anybody who's reasonable, like a reasonable left-thinking person, which is most artists, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
And then you get to this point where you're like, no, I can't go along with you on all these things.
Yeah.
You guys you're just a bunch of fucking assholes who are using these subjects as a way where you can behave incredibly shitty, incredibly uncharitable, like vicious, mean, ostracizing people from society. I don't want any part of you. I don't want any part of the way you guys think and behave. And you to pretend that you're doing it for good, you're gluing yourself to the wall for climate change. The fuck you are.
Yeah.
You're just a nut. You're just a crazy, entitled nut, and you're fucking up society.
Yeah.
This is not the way that people should be behaving. And I can't believe it makes people go to the other. And the Republicans are smarter about it now in this day and age because they're like, hey, we'll take you in. Hey, it's fine. Come over to us. You could say whatever you want. Comedy's back. You know?
Rogan brings up a lot of great points. This after he had on another guest just the other day, Chad Wright, a retired Navy SEAL, endurance athlete, speaker, and entrepreneur who co-founded the 3 of 7 Project, which focuses on health and self-improvement for the body, soul, and spirit. But the logic is undeniable. I just think Chuck Norris is right. The Republicans haven't changed. It's the left, and they've moved so far from center, it's not even funny, to the point at which they are unrecognizable anymore.
Why are you a conservative, sir?
Well, I used to be a Democrat, but unfortunately the Democrats went too far to the left, and the Republicans moved into their position that the Democrats were 40 years ago. See, and so what the Democrats believed 40 years ago, the Republicans believe today. And so I realized that I had to go to a Republican because the Democrats just got too far off the trail. They just got completely off the trail and lost all reality of what America stood for. And so I realized that Republicans at this point in time are more focused on what is best for America than what the Democrats are.
Hell, even Mark Cuban, a failed, wannabe, Trump-hating Kamala surrogate, is giving up too on the failed party. And when asked, which side are you on, Mark? His reply is priceless. Look here and see. Cuban says, and I quote, "I am on the side of the American people," he says. "I'm sick of fucking politics." Right. And let's be honest. The left and the Democrat Party is definitely bad for business. Cody Sanchez made a great point with this post that she put up on her X that said, hot take, being happily married is better than a big bank account. And like if you agree, but she also presented a valid question just the other day when she asked, or more so went off on this rant and says, I or she can't decide if building in San Diego would be the best because no one works hard here and you could outwork every company, or the worst, because no one works hard, so employees who are killers is impossible. Finally, resorting to the possible idea that maybe with AI, young people retirement communities, aka San Diego, become open for super concentrated builders again. What do you think? And while you're leaving that comment, might I just add this in as a little food for thought? According to Newsmax, despite blasting President Trump's tax cut and spending mega bill, Elon Musk reportedly contributed $15 million overall in June to the president's super PAC and two groups backing Republican congressional candidates. So, like it or not, or believe the hype from the mainstream media lies and fake news or not, and the supposed fake beef between Elon and President Trump, the Democrat Party is a complete and total failure. Money talks, and businesses are placing their bets accordingly.
Going on is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public.
Complete and total, utter garbage in the eyes of the American public, and the CNN polls show it. Colbert lost CBS $40 million a year because not enough people watched, and so CBS canceled it. Kamala cost her donors $2 billion in 107 days, and she lost in an electoral landslide. America rejected both of them, and so now they're blaming America. Maybe they should look in the mirror. They've completely lost touch with reality, and all they have left is to just lie.
You know, it keeps getting worse. Today, Donald Trump and the White House announced they're going to spend $200 million to build a large, fancy White House ballroom. This is what Doge was all about, folks. Cutting things, taking things away from you, and not giving it to some place that needed it. Giving it to the big shots who run the show, Donald Trump at the top of the list. Maybe he can park his new plane in the big ballroom. It's probably big enough.
And that's entirely untrue because, in fact, President Trump has already addressed this expense and had this to say about it.
No other president, they say, with the possible exception of George Washington, and they haven't been able to find those records. And we've had wealthy presidents before, but no other president has contributed the salary. And they told me before this that you will probably be asking me whether or not I'm going to contribute my salary again. But you haven't asked that.
Are you going to?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I appreciate we just made news there.
All Schumer does, the Dems, all they do is lie. And I wouldn't expect anything less from President Trump, nor anything more from Chuck Schumer and the desperate Democrats. Oh, and get this. This has got the left all bent out of shape as Sydney Sweeney is going viral for allegedly registering as a Republican voter in 2024. And it wouldn't surprise me to see folks like John Fetterman doing the same and being removed, in essence, from Congress as a Democrat and either A, becoming an independent, or 2, joining MAGA 1000%. And stick around until the end of the video because you're not going to want to miss what I have to show you. And spoiler alert, it's Sydney Sweeney's rack. Because why not? The left hates it, and we just love her for it.
And by the way, they're real and they're spectacular.
And just in, American Eagle refuses to apologize.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I'm available for the American Eagle jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please. Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
Next.
This late-breaking intel released in a new statement posted to Instagram after receiving backlash for their Sydney Sweeney ad. The new statement is already being met with more backlash from angered liberals. And good for American Eagle for standing their ground. Never back down. But I think one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time is this post here. That's supposed to be from Donald Trump, and it says, many Democrats and Democrat supporters have been criticizing the American Eagle company, which has one of the great patriotic names for a company, for its latest ad campaign to sell blue jeans starring the beautiful and talented Sydney Sweeney. These online crybabies are calling the company and Sydney fascists. Totally ridiculous. Selling blue jeans is about as American as you can get, if we're being totally honest. Maybe if these fat, ugly losers spent more time working on themselves, they wouldn't be so angry about everything.
It has come to my attention that fat ugly chicks are upset by my American Eagle ad, and that's honestly so funny because fashion is only for attractive people. I mean, who are you kidding? I'm sorry, you're disgusting, but this product, yeah, it's not for you. Liberal women are such spiteful bitches sometimes, but it's not their fault, I guess. Some of them are just born hideous, and that's tough. I also just want to say that throughout this ad campaign, people have been guessing my political views, and I, against the wishes of my publicist, I'm going to share that I am way more right-wing than you could ever imagine.
MAGA. And although it's freaking hilarious and somewhat believable, as you can see here, this community note points out that Donald Trump did not post this, but it's kind of what we were all thinking anyway, right? Just keeping it real and being honest with you. Republicans just got it going on.
But she's on my list. Caroline Levitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star, and she's great. She's a great person, actually, but she's, I don't think anybody has ever had a better press secretary than Caroline. She's been amazing.
Mr. President, thank you.
And whether it's Caroline Levitt or Sydney Sweeney or Laura Trump.
Yeah, and this is so great, Katie, for everybody across the country, because look, these institutions are supposed to be there to inform people, and they are legally not supposed to have a political bias. But you look at the NPR newsroom, there was a whistleblower who broke the story that 87 registered Democrats were editors in their newsroom. Guess how many registered Republicans there were? 0. You look at PBS, 85% negative coverage of congressional Democrats, versus 75% positive coverage of, 85% negative coverage of Republicans versus 75% positive of Democrats, you can see the political bias. And the problem is when the American taxpayer is footing the bill for this, and it's antithetical to everything we're supposed to stand for as a society. We're supposed to be free and open, and it's supposed to just give us information. Yet, of course, like all the legacy media outlets, they were not doing that.
If you disagree and you're a man like me, then you might need to have your head examined.
Why are you gay?
But that seems to be about enough of a rant for me here with you all today. The left has some strange infatuation with beautiful women showing off their great genes, and apparently American Eagle chose a model to represent the brand and America, who just so happens to have the perfect size and pair to set off Democrats and label her an official Nazi.
Important discussion happening in our country today, which is Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
So the Democrats have essentially been like, Sydney Sweeney represents like a Nazi white supremacy issue. Do you think it's that deep, and do you think attacking Sydney Sweeney is how they can win back young males?
Is that a good move? Yeah, my political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy. I mean, it actually reveals something pretty interesting about the Dems, though, which is that you have like a normal all-American beautiful girl doing like a normal jeans ad, right? They're trying to sell jeans to kids in America, and they have managed to so unhinge themselves over this thing. And it's like, you guys, did you learn nothing from the November 2024 election? Like, I actually thought that one of the lessons they might take is we're going to be less crazy. The lesson they have apparently taken is we're going to attack people as Nazis for thinking Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. Great strategy, guys. That's how you're going to win the midterms, especially young American men.
Their course correction lasted about 30 seconds.
That's right. Lasted 30 seconds. Somehow has gotten even crazier. But again, it's just so much of the Democrats is oriented around hostility to basic American life. So you have a pretty girl doing a jeans ad and they can't help but freak out. It reveals a lot more about them than it does us.
No question.
Our future president of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. But this is where I leave you, right here with this post from Benny Johnson, where he says the exact moment when the wine kicked in. Thanks for watching, and God bless.
I rolled calls, and that's me on a call. So you'll see my phone is actually on my lap, and I know I've been teased about this, but I like these kinds of ear pods that have the thing, because I've served on the Senate Intelligence Committee. I have been in classified briefings, and I'm telling you, like, don't be on the train using your ear pods and thinking somebody can't listen to your conversation. I'm just telling you, that's a little bit more secure.
So when you saw,
I mean, who are you kidding? Like, I'm sorry, you're disgusting, but this product, it's not for you. Liberal women are such spiteful bitches sometimes, but it's like not their fault, I guess. Some of them are just born hideous, and that's like tough.